Good morning, good afternoon, everyone who's joining us. My name is Meg Garvin, and I have the distinct pleasure and privilege of welcoming Roberta Roper here as we talk about the 20th anniversary of the passage of the Senate bill, which eventually became the Federal Crime Victims' Rights Act. I'm with the National Crime Victim Law Institute, and Roberta is perhaps one of the leading, well, not one of the leading victim advocate in the country, helping ensure that we have rights. So Roberta, thank you for taking the time to join me today as we have a conversation.
Oh, Meg, it is my honor to be here.
The United States Senate approved what was Senate Bill 2329. And I'm going to say the whole name of that bill because too often we shorten it. It's the Scott Campbell, Stephanie Roper, Wendy Preston, Luarna Gillis, and Nyla Lynn Crime Victims' Rights Act. But that bill afforded some really clear rights to victims. And I know that your daughter's death, her murder, was a key reason this bill was passed. Can you tell us a little bit about what it took to pass the bill and also why it was so important to have rights at both the state and federal level?
Well, advocating for the passage of this was certainly an arduous process, but clearly we prevailed. And it is not only vital that we have victims' rights laws passed on the state level, but also on the federal level to ensure that every crime victim and survivor has fundamental rights in criminal justice proceedings. I mean, consider our nation. We have 50 states. All those states have victims' rights law, but they're all very different. 37 of our states have constitutional amendments for crime victims' rights. No two are alike. But the Federal Crime Victims' Rights Act of 2004 provides legal standing for every victim to assert their rights and enables them to have legal representation for the enforcement of those rights. So it is really important.
It has a whole list of rights, from the right to be notified, the right to be present, the right to be heard. And it also has this last right that was in the list originally as it was drafted. And that was and I'm going to quote it because it's really beautiful language. And I said the same thing when I spoke to Senator Kyle: to be treated with fairness and with respect for dignity and privacy. Those are really big words and really big rights. And as you were working on it, can you share why those rights are important to you and what difference they might make for victims?
Indeed, I can. The right to fairness, dignity, and access to privacy are vital. I think back 42 years ago and trying to comprehend, deal with the unspeakable crimes committed against our daughter was devastating. However, our treatment and our experience with the criminal justice system almost destroyed our family. Everything we valued, our confidence in the criminal justice system, our trust in people, our faith in God was tested. We had to explain to 4 surviving children that unlike their sister's killers, we had no right to be informed, no right to be present, no right to be heard. And it was the criminal justice system that we had taught them to believe in, to respect, and to obey. So the defendants who took Stephanie's life also took her dignity. Where was fairness and dignity for her? Where was fairness and dignity for her family? Everyone deserves to have dignity and respect. Victims, as well as those accused or convicted of crime, have an interest in justice and should be treated with dignity and respect. And that was certainly lacking in our case.
We are coming up, as I noted, on 20 years since the bill was approved. And then in October, it'll be 20 years since it became law. Do you believe that we have achieved the vision you had when you were developing these rights that became law at the federal level?
I do believe that we as advocates have made extraordinary progress and achievements, and that has changed the culture of the criminal justice system. People today, I believe, have a better understanding that crime doesn't discriminate. Any one of us can become a victim of crime. Is our state laws and our system perfect? Is our nation's system of justice and laws perfect? No. but despite its flaws, our nation system is the world's best model. That doesn't mean we have to remain vigilant and guard against those who might reverse the achievements that we've made.
As a leader in this field, what wisdom do you have to share with the rest of us about how to continue to advance victims' rights?
We must be prepared to pass on the torch to future advocates, and we must remember that our first responsibility to every victim and survivors is to listen to everyone's voice and to validate their voice and to be the voice of those unable to speak. Again, we have to persevere, we have to be patient, and we must remain passionate about these issues that are so vital to our American life. So again, I would just encourage people to remain vigilant and to guard that great American concept of liberty and justice for all. The criminal justice system belongs to all of us, and we must ensure that it serves all of us. That every advocate needs to also maintain their personal health, because it can be very draining to do this work, and it's very rewarding. But on the other hand, to succeed, you have to take care of yourself.
This field is hard, and finding moments of vicarious resilience, that's what I call it,
Exactly.
is beautiful, but we all need to really pay attention to that because we have to be able to be here tomorrow for the survivors.
Sometimes people will ask, how can you do this work? It must be so difficult. Yes, it is. It is challenging, but it has been the most rewarding work of my life. It has saved my life. It has given it purpose. Because there was a time when my husband and I feared that we couldn't preserve our marriage, our family, and how could we give our children hope if we didn't have any? Over the past 42 years, I have met some of the finest people, both advocates and survivors and victims of crime, who I would have never had the privilege of knowing except for our daughter's murder. So they too inspire me.
Well, Roberta, thank you for taking the time today. Thank you for all you do for all of us. And I think I can commit on behalf of at least myself and the folks I know that we're not done with this work.
No, we're not.
We're going to keep making it going. So thank you for today.